everyone. My name's Enid Spitz. I'm a writer, and today I'm going to tell you all about writing for the web, or as much as I can fit into about 10 minutes. So to start off, first of all, why is writing important? This isn't English major writing, this isn't what you did in grade school, and it really matters. Because if you think about it, the words on your site are like your introduction to someone. They're you speaking directly to your audience, and the way that you do that really matters. Also, SEO. Most of you have probably heard about this, search engine optimization. If you need another reason why you should be writing for your site, and I mean blogs, articles, content, is because it's great to share. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever it is. So now that we've established why you should have writing on your site, I'm going to talk about a few really important ways to make sure the writing on your site connects to your clients or customers. And number one is your headline. Your headline has to hit home right away. Number two is knowing your audience. Third thing, stick to your subject. A lot of times when people write for the web, they've got a lot of ideas. We're entrepreneurs, that's what we do, right? We think of things. But to create something that people actually want to read and will stick with you, you have to stick to your subject. Keep it simple. And the fourth thing is nail your voice and your vibe. And then the last thing is, as silly as it seems, the way that your words look matters. Okay, so let's talk about headlines. Headlines are what draw people in. They're what will most likely pop up on social media shares. And so you want your headline to be exactly what your subject, your blog, your article, your content is about. So number one thing is to make your headline have your SEO keywords that you want in it. And it could be keywords, it could be a phrase. If you're writing a blog about the best looks for spring, make sure it says that in the exact headlines. Don't make it obscure. The other thing is, when you're done and you've written your whole article or blog post, go back to your headline. Even if you started with something, you might realize that by the time you got to the end of your article, there was a better way to say it, a better headline, something more relevant or more direct. So make it direct. Make sure it has your keywords, and always loop back to your headline. Okay, so you have your headline down. You know what you want to write about. Now, who are you writing for? This makes a big difference in the words that you use. So if you're a lawyer writing for other lawyers, it's totally okay to use legal jargon. That's the first really big tip. Know who you're talking to. The second one is that no matter what, when you're writing for the web, try to keep it pretty simple. The average reading level for adults is 6th to 8th grade. If you think about that, that's not a ton of crazy long words. That's not something that someone has to look up in a thesaurus or in a dictionary. So if you're writing for the average person, write it the way that you would talk. One of my professors in college gave me this great bit of advice, saying that you don't have to make everyone love what you're reading, but a few select people that you really care about, those are the ones that matter. Okay, you have your headline, you have your audience, and now you have your subject, right? You know what you want to write about, you know why you're writing it, who you're writing it for. The thing is, a lot of times when people start writing, it kind of goes off. So here's two different things for you to think about. One, when you're writing a post for the web, think of it like a wheel, like one of those old-fashioned wheels on wagons. Your subject is the hub, the center. Every single thing that you write should just be a spoke off of that hub. That means it has to be connected in order to be strong and to do what it's supposed to do. Be really clear, stick to the main points, and if you find yourself rambling, I always recommend take a step away, take a day away, come back and read it, and you'll notice pretty much right away if it's not sticking to your subject. One other little tip is that the more concrete you can be, the more specific you can be, the better. So for example, this is one I use a lot. Think of this, a woman driving a car. Okay, cool. You probably came up with some idea in your head, but if you're trying to get an exact image across to someone, saying a woman driving a car is not going to put an image in their head. If you say Barbie Beach blonde driving or speeding in her hot pink Mustang along Highway 1, now someone has something really specific to see. So maybe you can tell that my voice and my vibe are pretty casual. I want you to feel comfortable. The idea is to make this more like a conversation and to make it a little bit fun. So if I was giving this presentation and wanted it to be super professional, I'd probably be wearing a blazer. I'd probably be using a lot more text speak. I wouldn't say like and I wouldn't say That's okay, because for this video, that's my vibe and that's my voice. But you need to know yours. So when you're writing, it's essentially like an extension of your brand. If your brand is edgy and funky, you don't want to be writing in these long verbose sentences that have a lot of technical dialogue in them. Same thing if you're trying to be like fun and peppy. Sure, put some exclamation points in there. Your sentences all don't have to even be complete. If you're trying to be really professional, I don't recommend emojis or... All right, the final big thing that I'm going to go over is how to make people actually read your words. And as a writer, I have a very love-hate relationship with this. You have to make it look pretty, and you have to package it right for people to read it. We see this all the time on social media. If you have a good share, people are going to click. Even if your content is amazing, if you don't share it in the right way, there's no way anyone's going to read it or click on it. Take a little extra time and make it look good. What that means is break up big chunks of text so that they're readable. You can do this with bullet points, numbered lists, headlines, putting in photos, adding sidebars, infographics, things that chunk up your information in your writing so it's not just one huge wall of writing. If you have a ton of ideas swirling around in your head for what to write, and I just gave you all this information about headlines and your voice and your vibe and how to package it all, you might want to just sit down and write down all your ideas. And then take a look at the guide that I'm giving you for good places to start. There's a lot of ideas in there for different types of headlines, different types of articles that you could give. Remember, stick to your subject. And there's one really easy way to start articles. It's kind of like a formula for any blog post or content that you want to create. It's just 3 steps to start. Number 1 is your hook. How are you going to hook people in, make them want to read? The second 2 to 3 sentences, that's your transition. That's where you take them from the hook, the thing that pulled them in, and you start to go a little bit deeper, telling them where you're going to go. And then you hit them. The third step in your how do I start is your thesis. And I know what you're thinking, like a thesis paper? Kind of. So your thesis is your main point. It's your elevator pitch. It's your why are you here? Hopefully, whoever your reader is stuck with you through the whole article and they come away with exactly what you promised them in the thesis. So 3 steps to start: your hook, your transition, make it smooth, and then your thesis. What are they going to get? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Check out the guide, lots of tips on apps I love to use, places, free resources for pictures, little quotes, tips, and statistics about why writing for your blog actually matters. Thanks.